Hey, what's going on everyone? Matthew from therighttrader.com back today with another daily crypto update. I will be going over my normal schedule as per usual, which is Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, Ripple, Neo, Vertcoin, Monero, Omisego, Lisk, Cardano, and IOTA. All of those in that order in a more detailed technical analysis on TradingView in just a second. Other than that, if you're interested in monthly cryptocurrency buying opportunities, go check out my premium content. I have a link to that in the description of this video. And otherwise, if you're interested in trading altcoins, go check out Binance. I also have a referral link to them in the description of this video. Let's get started with the general market update, and we can see that a lot of the bigger cryptocurrencies are actually bouncing pretty nicely today, especially Bitcoin. So certain altcoins are dropping, some of the smaller ones. That's because a lot of the money is flowing back into Bitcoin and in some of the bigger cryptocurrencies like Ripple. But it's relatively mixed, right? As far as altcoins go, some of them are kind of red. Rayblox is doing really good here, going towards $10. Binance Coin up 33%. So not all bad, but there definitely is some red as far as the altcoins are concerned, especially some of the smaller ones, right? Power Ledger down a bit, unfortunately. Vertcoin as well. So there will still need to be some recovery there, but otherwise, like I said, in the bigger cryptocurrencies, there is quite a bit of green, and some of the big movers there are Bitcoin, of course, up 15% over the past 24 hours, Ripple up 13%, and IOTA actually doing pretty good here. Monero up nicely as well, going back towards $400. Let's jump right into the technical analysis side of things, starting off with Bitcoin Cash here, and we can see that we're currently at around $2,900. We made our way above this resistance level right over here, which is now support. That's at $2,800. So that's a very good place to be in. Hopefully we can hold that $2,800 support level. That corresponds to the previous all-time high. And our current all-time high is $4,104. But as far as the indicators go, we're flattening out on the MACD. Didn't get a crossover below the orange line yet, which is good. Starting to fall back down slowly, but kind of flattening out as well on the histogram, and definitely flattening out on the RSI. We are still uptrending there though, which is a good sign, but definitely flattening out a little bit there. Let me go ahead and draw in the uptrend line on the RSI just to give you guys an idea that we still are, in some more bullish momentum, despite the fact that we had a little pullback here, and we're still holding this long-term uptrend line, which is good. Still moving higher on the middle band. But with that being said, we're definitely experiencing a bit of a pullback. Looks pretty similar to what happened back here when we made our previous all-time high. Had a little bit of pullback, a little bit of consolidation, and then slowly started moving higher, right, once we were out of that consolidation phase. And I think it's going to be very similar this time around. It looks like the consolidation may last a little bit longer than I personally expected, just because, based on the MACD, how it's looking right now, and where the middle upper Bollinger Band is, I think we're probably going to see a little bit of consolidation in the $3,000 range for a little bit longer until it's finally ready to move back up. Let's go over and take a look at what Bitcoin has been doing. So Bitcoin obviously got a really nice bounce today off its $13,699 support level, made its way back above the uptrend line, and actually trading quite a bit higher now from there. So we're currently trading at around this $15,814 support level, barely breaking above that. We'll see if that holds. We're currently facing a lot of resistance at this middle band, and it'll be very interesting to see if that's going to flatten out and we may just see some consolidation in this area, or of course if we can continue to move higher and then that won't be a problem anymore. That would be a very good sign, because, and I think that it has a good chance of happening within the next couple of days. If you look at the indicators, we're really climbing back up on the RSI, rounded back up on the histogram, and got that big overextended hook that's coming back towards that orange line on the MACD. Very powerful signal that I like to use in my trading, and that's a very good formation right there. So right now, I'm going to be looking for mainly a break above that holds above the middle band. That's currently at $16,000 and $16,176. Once we're able to do that, we pretty much confirmed the reversal, and as you can see, we have our downtrend over here that we broke out of course, with this candlestick. But more importantly, what's important to realize is that we have a bit of a U-shaped bottom in the making here. So this could really start to pan out nicely if we're able to break above this middle band, and then we'll have a last bit of resistance over here near $16,644. After that, we're pretty much back into our higher ranges as we were before, right, near $20,000. So Bitcoin, I think, will probably move back up pretty quickly. The fact of the matter is that people are wanting to get into crypto. People want to buy Bitcoin, and whenever it drops, there's a lot of people that are there to buy it back up, right? So it never really gets the opportunity to get that much of a drop, and this is probably going to be one of the bigger drops that we see in a while, it looks like, based on the strength of the market. So let's go over now to Ethereum and take a look at how it's been doing. Ethereum looks like we're moving slowly but surely back up towards our resistance level at $783. Once we break above that, similarly to Bitcoin, we'll be back towards our previous higher range. And I think that'll happen within the next couple of days. We're starting to flatten out a bit on the MACD. Hopefully we can see a crossover there. It'd be very nice to see, a short dip like we had over here, where we quickly made our way back above the orange line. That would be a very good sign, and I think it has a good chance of happening, right? It's a very similar formation. You can see it on the histogram as well, moving nicely back into that symmetrical triangle, moving into that higher range as well there. And yeah, I think that we're just going to slowly but surely climb back up towards that higher range near, $850. Let's go over to Litecoin now, and I should also mention that Ethereum held this dip very well. It of course got a pretty big drop, but after that very quickly consolidated and started moving higher. So I think that's important to point out there. It really is one of the cryptos that tends to hold some of these drops better than most. As far as the MACD goes on for Litecoin, we can see that we're still moving lower here, still moving low on the histogram. And on the RSI, we're starting to flatten out, which is good. Now, as far as the actual price action goes, we're holding above our $267 support level, holding above our middle band as well at $276. That's really helping carry the price higher, and it's actually forming a bit of a symmetrical triangle with our downtrend line over here. So that's going to be the last resistance that we need to break above before we can make our way back to that $300 level and hopefully break above that. I think that should be able to happen pretty quickly. The couple things that we need to realize at this point is we're either going to break horizontally, I think, through this downtrend line and then trade a little longer before making our way higher, or we could just see a pretty quick break above this downtrend line, maybe even break above $300 pretty much right away, and then get back into our range between $300 and $350. So overall, not looking bad here, just still in its consolidation phase, but that should end pretty quickly. That being said, we do have the Bollinger Bands that are starting to contract on the price, so that could further consolidation just a tad longer. Going over now to Ripple, which has been also holding up the drop very nicely, and we can see that we had a little bit of a formation here where short-term downtrend broke back above that, and we've really been kind of almost like a staircase here, just moving higher on the Ripple chart. MACD gained a nice boost of strength again, so it didn't really go and test or even cross over the orange line. So we're still holding this bullish uptrend momentum. Same thing on the RSI, avoided to drop below that 70 line, and now making our way back higher, getting close to that all-time high at $124. So I think that we should probably be able to make a new all-time high pretty quickly here. Ripple is looking strong. Maybe it'll consolidate a little bit longer in this higher range, but based on the move here, look at what happened last time. We got a pretty strong breakout. That could definitely happen again, and maybe even put us in the mid $1 area already, which is pretty amazing for Ripple. Let's go over now to our next cryptocurrency, which is going to be NEO, and take a look at how it's been doing. So NEO dropping a little bit, got a pretty volatile doji candlestick yesterday, and unfortunately got a crossover on the MACD after a pretty overextended breakout. Still holding the symmetrical triangle on the RSI, which is good. And right now what it's looking like to me is there was a lot of resistance over here. So it's pretty normal that it wasn't able to make its way back above that $70 mark just yet. And we'll probably need a little bit more consolidation here before things clear up a little bit and we're able to make an easier move towards our highs again. So that's kind of what I see happening for NEO at the time being. Moving forward with our daily crypto update, we're going to go over to Vertcoin. And Vertcoin has been consolidating now for quite some time, so let's see what it's been doing. We can see that yesterday's candlestick pretty volatile as well, made a high of $8, almost $9, which we haven't really tested those levels again in a while. Didn't manage to hold that really, went much lower back towards this $7.21 support level. We want to make sure that that holds. If that doesn't hold and we start moving lower, we could end up pretty quickly in back towards $6, right? Which we obviously don't want to see. Dipping a little bit lower and starting to lose this 50 line on the RSI. MACD has been going down for quite some time in a pretty overextended way, so I think we're going to get some kind of bounce here pretty soon. And as far as the price action goes, it's really just in a very indecisive pattern right now. Just a couple days ago, we were trading pretty nicely, moving into the upper parts of this range. Now that kind of stopped, and we're really in the exact same formation as we were over here, right, where we had that breakout test, didn't really hold, and then consolidated for a little bit longer, and then finally made our way higher. So I think that's going to be pretty similar this time around, really consolidating here on the Bollinger Bands and the middle band flattening out. So probably going to see some consolidation. Of course, I'd like to see a move higher for Vertcoin, but consolidation is the most likely scenario at this point, and we just want to make sure that we hold above this $7.21 level, because that would be a very bearish signal if we broke and held below that. Let's go over now to our next crypto, which is going to be Monero. And Monero not taking really any breather, it looks like. Let's take a look at the chart here. So yeah, basically getting a very nice bounce, kind of a U-shaped bounce after our strong pullback, which was definitely needed. Now already moving back higher, back above the uptrend line, which I wasn't expecting this to happen so quickly. We'll see if it holds, of course, but it is looking pretty strong here. And MACD really starting to hook back up towards that orange line. Same thing on the histogram, starting to go almost, it looks like it's going to go back towards that positive range. And we broke back above the 57-cent support level. That was previously resistance just a couple days ago. So very good sign there. We didn't drop for long. I think that'll be able to hold this uptrend once again and just a little bit surely start moving higher. Of course, a lot of resistance at that $400 mark. But once we break above that, we can hopefully get back towards the all-time highs, right? And yeah, I think that's going to happen slowly but surely. Like I said, just continue this strong uptrend. It seems to be the new pattern for Monero, and obviously a very nice pattern to be in. Let's go and take a look at what OMISIGO has been doing. So OMISIGO consolidating a little bit. We got that very volatile candlestick previously, like we had on Neo's chart. Another doji candlestick on the current candlestick, and we can see that we crossed below the orange line, obviously a bearish signal, went negative on the histogram, and we're still holding our uptrend line on the RSI. So right now, it could kind of go either way. I think we could see a bounce if things pick back up quickly, and that would mean that we just had a really short-term dip below the orange line, or we might see a little bit more consolidation in this area before it's ready to move back up. Overall, though, I wouldn't be too worried about this. We can see that we have been putting in a pretty nice uptrend with the middle band over the past couple of days, so there definitely is some upward momentum. I just would look for making sure that we don't break below $14.50, right, because that would send us into the lower ranges again. Let's go over now to LISC, and let's see how LISC has been doing. Now, got a pretty massive move on the previous candlestick all the way up to 31 cents, dropped back much lower now, back into the mid $20 range, and getting a little bit of a red candlestick here. It looks like we're holding this, let's call it 23.40 support level. So that's good. I would say for the time being, as long as we don't dip below this uptrend line, we're still good. We did make a pretty overextended move. That's just something to pay attention to. I think it'll move higher in the near future, but we are pretty overextended as of right now, but it's still looking strong, so don't get me wrong here. Looks like we dipped a little bit lower on the RSI. Hopefully we can get a bounce off this sort of 70 line and our uptrend line. RSI, MACD still holding pretty nicely, uptrending, but it's been pretty overextended for a while, so just have to pay attention to how that plays out. And yeah, like I said, if we come back and test this uptrend line, I'd consider that pretty normal, pretty healthy price action. But who knows, maybe we'll already find the strength to start moving back up right away. But whatever happens, I think that we will be moving higher, over the next month. pretty nicely for this, probably going much higher into that $30 range. Let's go now and take a look at what Cardano has been doing. So Cardano looks like it's dropping a bit more today. Yesterday it was actually looking pretty nice, getting back into back towards that higher range, and moved quite a bit lower now. So unfortunately, I thought that kind of canceled out yesterday, but it looks like we are in the same pattern of the previous time we got a pretty big breakout, which ended up causing a similarly strong pullback, where we moved much lower. So on the MACD, we can see that we're just about to cross over. I think that will happen. Same thing on the histogram. We're about to go negative, and we cross back below that 70 line on the RSI. So very similar formation to what we had the previous time we had our big breakout and then pullback. And I think this is going to be pretty similar. So we're just coming up on a big crossover on the MACD, and that's going to be bearish. And we're getting very close to this 2,500 Satoshi level. So I don't think that's going to hold, unfortunately. And I think we're probably going to go back and test this middle band and $2,000 Satoshi level. But we should see a pretty strong bounce there that really kicks us back up higher. So potentially a buying opportunity for anybody who missed the Cardano move. I'm going to be thinking about that myself. But of course, that's not financial advice. That's just my opinion. Let's go and take a look at our final cryptocurrency of the daily crypto update, which is IOTA. And IOTA moving back up nicely, got a nice little short-term uptrend in the making here. As far as the indicators go, got a overextended hook back towards that orange line on the MACD. We'll have to see that pan out a little bit further, but for now it is flattening back out and rounding back up on the histogram, moving back towards that 60 resistance level on the RSI. So we're going to face a bit of resistance at that $4 mark. That's pretty much in line with the middle band. Those are going to be some pretty big resistances to break above. Once we're able to do that, though, we'll be back in the previous range that we were in before, between $4 and $4.75. I think that should happen pretty quickly at this point. With that being said, everyone, this is the end of the daily crypto update. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, everyone. Have a great day.